everybody. Wired in with Segun. As always, my beautiful and talented co-host, a hot mama, Nora. Joining us on the show today is Justin Urich, actor, restaurateur, owner of the incredible On the 30 restaurant here in Los Angeles, California on Ventura Boulevard. Talk to us, Justin. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for that lovely, lovely introduction.
Well, no, I feel it's fitting because it's not every so often that we get someone who is a restaurateur and an actor. Which do you prefer? Why are you both? What's the deal? Talk to us.
Well, I love them both, but I think you got to be an actor to be a restaurateur.
In what way?
Well, you deal with people all day long, and sometimes people give you a hard time because it is the service industry, so you have to put on your acting face.
Okay.
And treat them as nicely as possible.
So you really don't like your customers, like
I love
like
them.
It's all
no,
an
but
act.
You know what it is. I mean, have you ever worked in the service industry before?
Well, no, I actually own a bar too now. I followed in your footsteps, but that's another show.
Oh, okay.
Another
well,
show.
we'll talk about that another time.
Another show.
But you know, it's there's so many different personalities. When you own a restaurant, it's not just your customers; it's also your employees. You've got
We've got waiters, waitresses, chefs, hostesses, what's it called?
Bartenders.
Bartenders, busboys, the whole nine.
the whole shooting match, and you've got 30 different personalities, and you have to be able to speak to them properly in order to get them involved with one another in the right way to make your business run properly. And a lot of times that is a struggle, and you have to put on your acting face.
How did you get into the restaurant business?
Well, we started out as a development group. I was in a little bit involved in construction development with restaurants, and I was catering my business partners all of his parties, and he said, "You make the best pizzas I've ever had in my life, so let's open up a little wine and pizza joint." And then our wine and pizza joint 5 years later turned into On the 30, which is a much larger scale restaurant than what we initially dreamt up.
That never happens in the hood. It's never like you cater grandma's cookout with like fried chicken and collard greens, and they're like, "This is the best fried chicken and collard greens I've ever had. You should open up a restaurant." That never happens. That only happens in your neighborhood.
Only in my neighborhood.
Only.
Really pretty neighborhood.
Exactly. That only happens in your neighborhood. But On the 30 has blown up to be more than just pizza and wine.
Absolutely. Well, hey, let me start with the name. On the 30, 30 California wines by the glass. We wanted to stick with California wines because we do it the best. And when we opened up, it was going to be 30 California wines, 30 California craft beers, and then 30 ingredients, which go into my pizza. Now it is 30 California wines by the glass, 30 craft beers because I'm obsessed with European beers now,
okay.
And 30 ingredients, which go into the pizza. But we have gourmet bar bites. We have a charcuterie station.
You have an oyster bar.
Oyster bar. I mean, we have a full menu, full entrees, but we wanted to keep everything local, organic, sustainable, so we spent a lot of extra money making sure that we're getting the right product in.
The acting, you started as a youngster, or did you?
I grew up in New York. My first show was when I was 5 years old. I did Showboat at the Paper Mill Playhouse in Jersey.
Very nice.
So I grew up doing singing and dancing. My father was on Broadway, my mother was off Broadway, and I was doing reoccurring shows at the Paper Mill Playhouse in Jersey from the time of 5 years old all the way to 11. And then we moved to California.
And when you moved to California, you put the stage behind and the bright lights of Hollywood.
Hollywood. I wanted to be a kid actor, and I was. I found a really great acting class, and somebody came in and said, "I want to represent that kid." And I remember my first audition was for ER, a guest star on ER, and I booked my first audition. I'm like, "This is perfect.
This is not normal."
Yeah, it's like, this is so easy.
Everything comes to me very easily, everyone.
This is great life here.
No hard work is involved at all.
Not at all. But now the voice, were you blessed with this voice? Because it sounds like you could sing, or, I mean, well, you said you sang as a little kid, but it sounds like you could do voiceover work, or are you just trying to shame Nora and I with, this is my radio voice. And
well, no, it's a fifth of Jack and an entire carton of cigarettes.
Awesome.
No, I do voiceovers as well, video games, commercials.
We got to get a drop. We got to get a drop
we're
with
going to
that
get a drop
magic
before
voice.
it's over. We're going to have you drop Wired In with Segun.
Wired In with Segun.
Let me drop it.
Now, name some of the movies that you've been in for the people that aren't now just going to IMDb and going, Justin Urich, let me see what you've done.
How High?
Yeah, with Method Man.
Method Man, Red Man.
Okay.
and Mr.
Mike
Epps.
Epps.
And
Yes.
Mike Epps was on that. Okay.
And then we've also had some very good classics like Monster Man,
Monster Man.
Lake
Okay.
Placid 2, Carrie 2. I'm very big in the sequel movies of where I die. So,
Yeah, the Lake Placid 2 death scene, for anyone who's not seen it, watch Justin get eaten by an alligator is awesome.
that was in Bulgaria, and I had 5 guys drag me with a rope
They shot Lake Placid 2.
in Bulgaria, Sofia.
Nice. Well, you got to travel.
I did. I loved Sofia. It was a good time.
Do you find time to act now with the way the restaurant is, or the restaurant business being so demanding? Do you find time to act?
I'll tell you, I had to, when we first opened, I had to stop doing everything in my life except for the restaurant. I was at the restaurant 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. It was absurd. But then once it got legs, and I didn't have to be there as much, it kind of opened up my schedule. Now I'm doing mostly administrative things and management deals there. So when I get auditions, I can just say peace out and go to them. So right now it's even better.
What's your bigger passion, the food industry or the entertainment industry?
Oh boy, I love them both so much. I love them. I want to continue to grow as an actor.
They're both your babies.
Yes, and I want to continue to grow as a restaurateur and open up other restaurants, other concepts, and maybe one day have something where there's a theater as well, so we can put theater and food. Dinner theater.
Dinner theater.
A concept.
There it
There
is.
you go.
You know what? Let's invest. I'm down. I'm down. I'm in for some cash. What I've noticed in the restaurant business, at least from what I've been able to see in my limited foray with the restaurant that I have, Ball and Chain.
Where is Ball and Chain?
Ball and Chain is in the heart of Hollywood on Cahuenga Boulevard, right cross-track of Hollywood Boulevard and Cahuenga. We are right there on like Restaurant Row. We are all craft beer and wine with meatballs and, to be honest with you, before I got into Ball and Chain, I was a regular at your restaurant.
Yes, you were.
And
I don't see you anymore.
Well, but here's
You used to eat my balls all meat all the time.
wow, and then it got creepy. No, well, here's the thing. Because I remember I was picking your brain and I would ask you questions about it, and I wanted to ask you this. I've noticed that if you're not there all the time, money and product can just walk out of the restaurant. How do you, even when you hire the best people, how do you feel secure that, people aren't overpouring, they're not just slinging drinks to their friends, or food isn't just magically, the great piece of steak that you are selling at $45 a plate is now, being eaten as the meal for your workers. How do you stay on top of that?
Well, I am there still pretty frequently.
Okay.
But I have a lot of people there that I do trust, and the trust factor is a big deal. And I don't know about your place, but my place, it's very large in size. We have a lot of volume. There's a lot of volume of alcohol and food, but I have to trust the managers that I put into their positions in order to, and bookkeeping. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
When you put your people in charge, the bookkeeping, and then you get spreadsheets at the end of every week, and you can see where you're getting, where you're winning, where you're losing, and what you have to do to make the adjustments, and then make your decision based off that.
Now, On the 30's also known for the incredibly beautiful waitresses and wait staff that you've hired. How has that affected your personal life since you are handpicking all of these young, super buxom, talented women? Has that ever, you ever date the help?
I've been married and divorced now 5 times since I've been open in the last 2 years. No. I'm joking. I'm very, very happily married, and I've been married happily for the last 4.5 years, and I have a little baby, so everything's great.
And was she
Thank
from
you.
the wait staff?
She was not. She was not. Actually, we lived in Santa Monica prior to acquiring the restaurant, and she's the one that said we need to move next to the restaurant. So she was smarter than I was by giving that as the advice, because she never would have seen me if that was the case. When we first opened, she was the hostess for the first year.
So it was like a family affair.
It was a mom and pop shop. I was in the kitchen. She was hostessing. My partner was managing. It was just a small group of us. And then as we got busier and busier, we kept having to hire more people. And now we're super fortunate to have such a beautiful and intelligent staff that love working there as well. So no, haven't had any problems so far.
Nice.
And everyone's super respectful, and we just try to keep a copacetic environment all the time, and let people have fun, and Most of them are actors and models, and they have auditions to go to. So 90% of my work is changing scheduling to fit their schedule, which is annoying as all get out. But in order to keep good people of that caliber, you've got to work with them.
Keyword being models. His staff is models. Everyone's pretty.
Everyone's good looking.
Everyone's That's to say.
I can't lie about that.
No, but you know what? It's Southern California, and do you feel like
Stereotypical now,
do you feel like the patrons expect that?
Not necessarily. No. I mean, I've hired lots and lots of different looking people, but
And fired the different looking ones, kept the pretty ones.
We're there for the food. We're there for the food.
That is not true. You know what? And most now people do come for the food, but they also do come for the service. I mean, we've built a great clientele. We have so many regulars that come in now. I mean, people come in 4 times a week, and I never go out to the same place 4 times a week.
Wow.
Segun was coming in
I used
4
to come.
times
Yeah,
a week.
I wouldn't say 4 times, but we used to.
4 times a week.
I used to come in.
You don't cook, do you?
No, I can cook. That's the funny thing. I can really, really cook. But we used to come in, my friends and I, and my friend that introduced me to Justin. If I had never met you, I would never have really gotten into this restaurant business at all on my side with Ball and Chain.
So you owe me a little money.
If
It's doing well.
No, 1, it's doing well. 2, as much money as I've spent on the 30, I think we've.
You think we're even?
I think we're right. You actually you owe me about 10 more meals.
Okay, fair enough.
What's the next expansion? Like, if you would you call a new concept? Would you call it something different? Do you want to open, like, in Southern California? Is it, how far away can you open? Like, I'm just curious as like what you want to do next, because you've got so much going on.
Well, as far as On the 30 is concerned, we have plans to open up another On the 30.
So that's a brand now. On the 30 is its
On the
own
30
brand.
is its own brand.
Okay.
And then I have other projects that I'm working on as well that is in the development stage of the idea and also looking for a space.
Okay.
Now you were describing your menu, and it sounds really fancy, but I must say, during the World Cup at 8 a.m. when I was looking for all the games, I was on the 30. You guys were like one of the few spots in Southern California that was airing all the World Cup games. Where did that come from? It just seems like a really odd mix.
You know what? I was actually against it. I have to say I was against it, and my business partner is the one that brought it up. Say I want to start showing all these games, and we were originally closed. We started out by opening at lunchtime, and we just didn't have a very big lunchtime crowd. And he thought this would be a great opportunity to showcase our food, our restaurant, our service, what we do if we open up at 8 a.m. and show these soccer matches and get all these people that wouldn't normally come in to our restaurant to come in. And it was a brilliant idea. We
Got
did
me
that.
there.
We were open up at 8 a.m. for every single game.
Drunk people at 8 a.m. watching football was amazing.
It's just amazing when you have 200 people smashed in your place at 9:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. I never thought that would happen, but it did, and all these people are regulars again now.
But you guys are really, I mean, you guys show sports as well. I mean, you're a sports guy. You like sports.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys a sports bar? Do you think of it as a sports bar? Do you think of yourself as a restaurant, as a pub, what do you call yourself? Or do you call yourself nothing because you're an actor, an entertainer, voiceover artist, can sing, can dance, can do all, so is that what the restaurant is?
Well,
a little bit of everything?
We are eclectic. I would call it, we're a sophisticated take on a modern sports bar.
Oh, well, that is a sophisticated take on a modern sports bar.
You've been to our joint. The aesthetics is very warehouse New York feel with 20-foot vaulted ceilings, a 38-foot concrete bar, yet there's warmth and wood tones to it. So it's like a New York restaurant meets a Napa wine cellar. But you've got all these televisions that you can view whatever sporting program you want to. We don't play the audio for any of the games except for their final games or their final LA games. Okay. And Football Sunday we do audio for. But once 8 o'clock hits, all those TVs turn into black and white movies. So you have a completely different dichotomy going on in the restaurant.
Do you see yourself with a new, like if you could do a completely different concept, what would it be? On the 30, it's its own brand. What's the concept that you are most excited about, if you can share it?
I can. My next concept that I'd like to do is a beer and pizza sanctuary.
What does that mean? Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Like the like the Abbey in West Hollywood. Sanctuary, like no, not like that.
No, not like that. You know, a mixture between a Neapolitan pizza joint that you would find in Rome, and a beer garden that you would find in Germany. But we're only going to have pizzas and beer.
Interesting.
No pretzels, no sausage.
So in an industry where 60% of restaurants don't make it past the first year and 80% go under in 5 years, what's your secret or advice to, restaurateurs out there?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Those odds are terrible. If somebody told me
if
someone told me those odds, I wouldn't have done it. No, you know what? You've got to follow your dream and your passion. And if you have an idea and you have the drive and you're prepared to work your butt off, I would say absolutely do it, because you never know unless you try. If I knew what I knew now, and I didn't know what the success was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it. I went in very, very naive. I'd never been in a commercial kitchen before. It's very much a Cinderella story, and I think that if you have the quality of product and the quality of service, you can't fail. If you're going into the space where they need a certain type of restaurant, location is the biggest thing in anything in life. The three L's. Location. Yeah.
Okay. Do you look at your food in a similar way that you would look at like someone casting a role? For example, if you're right for the part, then you're the actor and nobody else is going to get it from you. Your food, if you want, the best this, that, and the other, they're coming on the 30. And if they don't want that, you know what, go to another restaurant. Do you look at it that way?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm so big into pizza. It's ridiculous. I still go back there and make the dough myself. It's a very important part of my life. I mean, when I grew up in New York, I was 6 years old and probably close to 175 pounds, because I would walk home from school but eat 3 slices of pizza on the way home, and then I eat dinner again. My parents were like, why are you getting so big? Because I was obsessed with pizza, and the obsession with pizza definitely translated here. If you want the best, which I believe is the best pizza that you can get in LA, I would say come to my restaurant.
Wow, it's a bold statement.
It is a very bold statement. It says underneath on the 30, home of the best pizza you ever had. I mean it.
Wow. Okay. Now, where do you get this love of cooking from? Or this, can mom cook? Can dad cook?
From my papino.
Okay.
From my father. My mother was always the baker. My father was always the chef in the house. And we grew up, even though we're not Italian, grew up with a lot of pastas and pizzas, and and again, being in New York, we'd order in Chinese food all the time too.
So this whole thing, everything. It feels like everything you're doing is just is like the best of both worlds of your mom and your dad. They were both on Broadway, off Broadway. You're an actor. They can cook and they can bake, and you're doing that thing. Have they, what kind of pride have they ever said anything to you? Just like, we're proud of you or anything like that?
Oh, constantly.
Because my parents never said that. So I'm just.
Have you given them something to be proud of?
Hurtful. Well, there is this thing that we're doing right here that I hope, and some other stuff too. But no. But do you find yourself? Did you ever look at it that way? That it was a continuation of what mom and dad were doing, and it's just a natural progression, or it's just something you happen to luck into?
Probably a little bit of both. I've always, as a child, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. Like, I always pretend that they're coming and dining at my place when I would cook them whatever I could cook, being a 6 or 7 year old without burning himself. But I'm very blessed. They tell me all the time how proud they are. They live now in Valley Village, so they come to the restaurant 4 times a week.
Oh, nice.
And they come in for lunch, and they get to try some of the wines. Next time I have a wine tasting, I'll invite you to come in.
That would be nice.
And
Scotch tasting too. Just scotch.
At 10 a.m.
Noon somewhere.
What do you think about the Food Network and all these reality TV shows? Can someone really learn to cook from watching those?
I think a lot of people probably do. I don't watch the Food Network just because, I probably would if I had more time. But there's a lot of great chefs that are off of it. Gia De Laurenta she's, I think, a fantastic chef. I just went to a restaurant in Las Vegas, and I think she did a fantastic job. Mario Batali, but he started off as a chef and then became a celebrity chef on TV. But you can learn a lot of good things off of these people. Bobby Flay,
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, they're all fantastic, and they care about what they're doing. You can see that on the television show, and if they can, put a little bit of that fire underneath somebody else who's watching it, I don't see why they couldn't.
Entertainers know entertainers. Like we were talking to Michelle Epps on a previous show, and we were talking about how her husband being a comedian, comedians have their own kind of language, and comedians, can group together. Do chefs do that? Like when you go into a restaurant, can you go now as just a patron, or are you automatically going in there looking for things, either looking for what's right, what's wrong, what you would do different, tasting a food and saying this is not good? Do you go in as a chef, or do you go in as a patron?
I go in as a patron, but I also go in as a restaurateur. So if I find something that blows me away, I'm super excited, because then I want to find a way to either make it better,
okay,
or just enjoy it.
Have you ever gone to a restaurant and seen something and then gone back to your restaurant and made changes? Like, oh my God, they're doing we're not going to do this anymore.
That hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
That hasn't happened yet. But if it did happen, I would would change it.
Do you beef? Do restaurants beef with each other?
You know what? There might be a little neighborhood beef going on right now in Sherman Oaks.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different restaurants opening up. We opened up, and then the places directly across the street from us closed down, revamped, reopened up.
Like a million times, that place
Yeah.
across the street from you.
We won't say their name because we won't throw shade.
I'm not throwing any stones anywhere, but next door, I mean, I love the fact that people are opening up restaurants and redoing things, because it's making Sherman Oaks a destination, and that's what we want. I want people from Beverly Hills to drive over the hill, come to the restaurant. Hollywood, come to the restaurant. You've got a couple different places that you can go to and have a drink one place, have an appetizer another place, and then come and have dinner at the third place. That's perfect for us, and it's great for the other restaurateurs.
You got to have beef in the food industry. It's only natural. Beef. Get it? Beef. Hello?
Do you have a cricket sound machine?
No, I knew where you were going, but you were fishing so hard for that. You were just fishing so hard. But do you find then that people are copying you? They're seeing your success and just coming into
Absolutely.
and just wholesale stealing.
Absolutely. Happens all the time. It's the greatest form of flattery, though. They're not going to do it as what we have. They're not going to do better than us. I'm confident on that. So if they want to try to copy it, go for it.
How intelligent does your staff need to be? Trustworthy is one thing, but you guys have on your menu, and people can go online to onthe30.com, and you have like your cocktail list, like the stuff that you make. Do you come up with that? Your bartenders come up with that?
I have a bar manager that takes care of all of the cocktail menus, and he'll mix up different drinks for us to try, and then we give approval. That's how we do the mixology program.
And the recipes on the food? For the food,
I'm not going to tell you that.
Oh, okay.
No. All of we
Talk
have
about fishing.
our executive chef Gil is fantastic.
Does Gil have a cell phone number that we may poach him for where we?
all of the pizza recipes are mine exclusively, and then the rest of the menu is Gilbert's.
Oh wow.
Justin, I was told a long time ago that if you get your food at a restaurant and you don't like it, don't send it back, because you don't know what they're going to do to it. Is there any truth to that?
That's ridiculous. It's called refiring. We do it all the time. If somebody doesn't like something, I want to give them the product that they want.
So do you throw it out, or do you save it and give it to someone
throw it
else?
out.
You got to throw it out.
I was about to ask, because
It's a shame.
I know, but I heard this, that once you serve the food and somebody sends it back, you can't really package it and give it to a homeless person. Like it can't. You can't. It almost has to be thrown away for health reasons. Is what I was told.
We don't keep any of the food. We have to throw it out. Wow. I don't know what the legality is behind it, but that's just what we do.
So if you make drinks bad, do you just throw them out, or
I drink them?
I was about to say.
We don't make bad drinks though. We don't have food sent back that often, so it's not a huge loss for us.
Nora.
Come on, Nora. What else?
No, Why
are you starting beef?
Well, yeah, no, I was going for another pun. I was waiting for another pun. No, what I wanted to ask you, in relation to the restaurant and opening and closing, do you feel that it is better served with your presence there, or when you're not there, do you are people walking on eggshells when you're there, so that the service is not as good?
God, I hope not.
You don't see the change of
you can send us in as secret shoppers.
Yeah, no, I would love that. Well, they know him. So
yeah,
they don't know me, so I'll come in 4 times a week.
Yeah, I would love
with
that.
my gift card.
All right,
gift card, exactly.
I'm happy to try that out. No, I'm very confident in our staff. Obviously, I think that things do run better when I am there because I can physically touch the tables. I can talk to the customers, find out what their experience is. I can just ask my managers and the servers how their experience were, and they're just going to say great all the time, no matter what. So being there, I do feel that it does run smoother, and if I could clone myself, that would be great, but that's just not possible.
Where can people go to find you, the restaurant, Instagram, Twitter, websites? Give it to us.
Yeah, onthe30.com. We're 14622 Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks.
Nice.
We're in the old Lorena Plaza. Instagram is also on the 30.
Okay.
Twitter's on the 30.
Do you post food pictures?
We put on the daily. You could go right now. Go to our Twitter,
Ooh,
and you can
yummy.
see
You guys make
daily
sure you
pictures.
follow. Yeah.
So and on the 30 is definitely going to come on board as a sponsor for the Wired In show. We need swag, mugs, T-shirts, the whole nine.
Pizza.
Listen.
Pizzas.
I can next time. I'll just come in for a quick 5-minute next time, and I'll bring some T-shirts and
Awesome.
some pizzas with me, and you can critique some of the new items.
Fried
that we
red
have.
velvet Oreo cookies, I hear. Are
Deep
hot
fried
item.
red velvet Oreos. That's
And you've
right.
got an oyster bar.
And an oyster bar.
Yeah, you've got an oyster bar. I mean,
Bacon wrapped dates.
And he
crab
brought
cakes.
nothing. A restaurateur
You know-
brought us
Restaurateur
no
brought
You
us
know what?
no
I'm
food.
sorry. I was sitting outside of the door here for 20 minutes. He said 1:30, and I kept texting. I'm like, any day. It's nice out here. I'll just turn this
Wow.
gas line
So you
on.
ate all the food before you
wow,
came.
that is so accurate. That's exactly what happened. So, you know what? People come to the restaurant, they can expect to see you.
Absolutely.
Are there days that you're not there, so that's the days that we won't come?
You can still come. I have a fantastic staff. I'm
Whatever,
there.
we come for you. Forget the
Listen,
staff. Staff can't
come for me.
comp us.
I'm coming for the hot waiters.
I'm absolutely there every single Tuesday. I'm always there on Tuesdays because I still go back in the kitchen. I do cooking on Tuesdays.
Oh, wow.
I make my bolognese on Tuesdays. So
That's the last question. That
Oh,
no.
I knew there was gonna be a bolognese
No,
question.
because this is the question that I wanted to ask because Nora brought it up. And Nora was talking about sending food back. I have heard that there are days that it's better to order certain items in a restaurant because those days are the delivery days and the food is fresher. Is that true? Like I heard it was like later in the week is better.
honestly, it depends on what you're talking about. All my seafood comes in daily, so I would say no to that question.
Okay.
And then everything else comes in every other day. I mean, I get deliveries 4 times a week.
So there's
for everything else. So I wouldn't for my restaurant specifically. I would say that's NA for us.
okay.
But other restaurants they could if they're only getting delivery twice a week, that would make sense. But we're not. Oysters come in every single day for us.
So you're doing a lot of farm to table stuff.
Yes,
Wow.
keeping everything local. Most of the purveyors are right in Ventura, Oxnard area for our produce.
Oh wow. Okay. A little jealous, but I'm stealing ideas for
Steal.
I'm
Steal.
stealing.
You're going to pay a lot more
ideas.
money for it though.
I'm stealing ideas. What would before you go? What would you tell, someone who wants to get into the acting business? You started when you were so young, and you've lived this pretty charmed life, which is a bit appalling to someone like me who's worked hard for everything. But you've lived this really charmed life. What would you tell?
Is that how I painted it? Just completely
Pretty
charmed?
much. Well, I was catering pizzas for my partner and I, and he said, "You make the best pizzas. We should open a restaurant."
Well, I said
and bam, it's successful.
I said it took 5 years in the making, though. There was some sweat in those 5 years.
I wanted to be an actor, and Mom and Dad worked on Broadway, and bam, we were in Hollywood, and bam, I booked ER my first time out, and bam, I
His
worked
agent found me
exactly
right away.
right away in an acting class. I want to work with that guy. No, what advice would you give? Like, what would you I'm a young actor, or I want to be, I'm a young chef with a food truck, and I want to do a brick and mortar building. What would you tell someone?
For both restaurateur and for actor?
Either or.
Well, for both, it's going to be persistence. If you truly want something, you've got to work your butt off for it. As far as acting is concerned, I would find a great acting studio or multiple ones and work on your craft. As far as my pizza dough, it took me, 5 years to develop the perfect pizza dough, or what I think is a perfect pizza dough. My pizza sauce, 5 years to develop that. If you're going to cook all the time. If you're going to act all the time. And try to get in front of the right people. I know it's all about getting your foot in the door, but the more that you work, the more people you're going to meet.
Wow. Couldn't have said it any better. Wired In with Segun, Nora, Justin, Urich, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, man.
On the 30, you guys got to come in and check it out. Every Tuesday, Justin is there, and that's where we're going to be eating once the show's over. Wired In with Segun, we're out.